attribution, two huge important things. What else is important? Data from small businesses about what they're doing, what they're not doing, and Perry Evans can talk all about that. Welcome, Perry.
Thanks. Personally, I've always thought Howard has been in the zone for a very long time. It's good that he finally got a product. What I'm going to talk to you about is the observations that we've had. We have about 125,000 small businesses registered into our mobile application called Perch, and we're following about 450,000 businesses in terms of tracking their data and feeding it back to those businesses through the mobile application. And what we've been doing is really finding new ways and iterating and trying new things that focus on how to nurture a small business towards higher and higher success in digital marketing. I want to give you some insights that we've learned along the way, really around the theme of advancing marketing automation for small businesses and using their data to do that. Sorry. The big green button. Okay, I get it. So where we start, so one of the things that we've done in terms of breakthroughs in the model, if you will, is really around very low cost of acquisition. So for about the price of a latte with a tip, we acquire a registered user that is a small business owner into our mobile application. What we're really doing is using the data of that business, because what the business does is say, this is me, and we aggregate all of their social and observational data from their customers and from their own social campaigns and let them follow that. But we also ask them to create a watch list of normally their competitors. So not only do we know about them, we know who they're watching and what they're clicking on and what they're doing in terms of observing their competitor behavior. And one of the things we've found is that the main goal, if you will, in terms of the initial experience of the business coming into the application is really that watching helps them relax into a high-tension situation. Most businesses are uptight about staying in the know and understanding what's going on in this space, particularly as it relates to the new activity in social media. We help them become more confident, and we help them watch and learn along the way, if you will. And what we've been finding, and we've gotten this feedback from our partners, is that somebody who's been using Perch for 6 months becomes a very informed buyer of digital marketing services. And that leads to high quality lead and low churn. So what we're essentially doing, think of it as providing the training wheels, if you will, for digital marketing progress as the business moves along a path. What we found in terms of our activity, fundamentally, we've come to the conclusion that the standard model of Marketo-style content marketing and marketing automation may be necessary, but it's not sufficient to move the needle on scale with small businesses. So small businesses, unlike professional buyers in a B2B world, don't sit there waiting for a new advice article, and they don't long for more content and analysis to inform a shopping decision. You need more to get over the barrier of their attention, and you need to find ways to trigger motion through a pipeline, if you will, or a progress path in their digital marketing. And that's what we've been iterating on and finding along the way. So we put a major focus over the last 6 months around performance assessment and reporting, and that's become a substantial, hundreds of % increase in improvement in the click-through rates and conversion into services versus standard content marketing. Businesses don't want to read another article on how to handle a bad review. There's 25 of them out there, and they don't go searching for them. But if you can place advice or action next to the content that says you've got a new review, whether it's good or bad, and tailor the action to those kinds of activities, that changes the dynamic completely. So what we're doing is really using performance that is live on your phone and performance that comes in the form of a weekly report that shows how you did versus last week, and extending that now into ways to compare what you're doing with who you've named as your competitors. So it takes it out of the abstract and moves it into really concrete, very personal terms. What we take advantage of alongside that is that we're averaging in our monthly user profile 11 times activity interacting with that data per month. So you combine access and engagement with triggers that really are fundamentally more impactful with small businesses to achieve a much stronger result. One of the things we're doing as well is also, instead of just onboarding Perch users into the application, we're also onboarding them into performance advice, taking the things that we've seen in the data, presenting it back to them in a workbook style to say, look at these 5 things and assess how you're doing as part of how we help you expand and improve your digital marketing success. Okay. Let me just walk you through an example that'll make this a little bit more tangible and show some of the data from our user base. So of the 125,000 businesses who have registered into Perch, one of the most striking statistics is that 89% of them have less than 5 reviews on Google Plus and Yelp. Now in the engaged social cohort, which is the majority of our most active user base, that number is still 54%. So more than half of the businesses that are active and engaged on social media fail the test of social proof. That means their ad spend is wasted in many respects. It falls off. And that's an impact that we've observed and are trying to build ways to solve those solutions for the business by educating them and showing them how they stack up. So what we do is we take activity data, notifications, so you'll receive a live mobile alert when there's a new review, you'll receive an email notification. Alongside that, we can tailor content and actions that say, congratulations on a great new review, but you only have 10 reviews. Do you realize how that performs? Or you had a bad review. And continually, essentially, providing ways for assessing and measuring performance and informing them of that performance. We've done an interesting experiment as well to say, alongside a 2-star or less review, click for a live call with a specialist who will consult with you on how to handle this specific review. So you start to see how the data can create not just triggers, but real paths to acquisition. And our approach is to work with partners, always give the business a choice of doing things themselves, doing things in a DIY tool model, or doing it in industry specialized ways or in full service ways. So we provide pathways directly from that problem into solutions that the business can directly engage with. So 3 things the data is telling us today when you look at the macro view. Number 1, social proof quantity and quality is a structural problem in the business. Presence completeness and the impact of poor presence is universally performing poorly, and mobile readiness is still a majority problem for SMBs. Our approach is to really give the business a framework for progressing their digital marketing. It starts with getting found and looking good, and progresses into cultivating your customers, acquiring more smartly, and digitizing your operations. We're putting most of our attention on number 1 and a little bit of number 2, because that's what the data is telling us, and that's what businesses need to do before they overspend on advertising, because you've got a leaky bucket that you're pouring advertising dollars into, that if you haven't fixed those foundational elements, you haven't progressed your digital marketing nearly as well as you should. So, in conclusion, the data is telling us it may not be sexy to sell foundational SMB services, but when you do, you create better long-term customers who are going to be more successful advertisers and adopters of more advanced digital marketing. Thanks for your time.